Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Full Count, SportsMemo's MLB betting coverage show. Coming to you live every weekday, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be covering baseball with some of the best handicappers, analysts, columnists, and sports bettors on the planet. We're going to be giving out free picks on several games for today's card in plenty of time for you to get down on them. I'm your host, world champion handicapper and Las Vegas's biggest daily sports bettor, Joe D'Amico. Welcome. Joining me today, we got a great panel, guys. We've got the one and only Jesse Schule and Mr. Ronald Cabang. Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Always happy to see Jesse and Ronald, two of my favorite people in the world, let alone this business, and two of the most successful documented winning cappers on the planet. Sports fans, we're going to be going through 3 games, and each one of us will be giving our point of view on those games. And then at the end of the show, both Jesse and Ronald are going to be giving you a separate best bet other than the roundtable games. So without any further ado, let's go right into today's roundtable games. The first game we're going to be covering, Detroit at Minnesota. Currently the Twins, 195, 7 over, minus $1.20. Let's go right to Jesse Schule. Jesse, if you will.
I had the Twins last night, and man, did we ever get lucky. They had a big lead, or had a lead anyways, and they blew it late in the game, and then ended up walking it off in the bottom of the 9th with a little bit of calamity. So really got fortunate there. But, yeah, the Twins are playing well. They've won 5 straight. The Tigers have lost 3 straight. This looks like it could be a pitcher's duel in this game. You got Michael Pineda, who tossed 5 scoreless innings versus the Yankees in his season debut. And Joe Ryan, the 25-year-old, is 2-1 with a 1.69 ERA. He looks great, but that price of minus 195, I think that's a little bit too high for me to go against a decent Tigers team and a decent pitcher in Pineda. The total's 7. I don't see a lot of value there. I do like the Twins, but at this price, I'm going to have to pass.
Jesse Schule being selective, saying he does like the Twins, comes off a win with them last night. But once again, a smart bettor is a smart guy who only looks at a game that brings some value. Jesse says he doesn't see it at this price. Well, guys, we're going to go from one great capper to another, and he's one of the best analysts I've ever seen. Ronald Cabang, tell us your take on this game, please.
Yeah, I mean, like Jesse said, this is a tough one because both pitchers have started out the season pretty well, but I do trust Joe Ryan a little bit more. I know he's young, but I really like him. I think he's going to be a great pitcher for this organization for a very long time. I mean, he's proven it, 2-1 with a 1.69 ERA in 16 innings so far, with a WHIP also under 1. So he's been doing it. He's been doing such a great job. I think the Twins also have a bit of momentum on their side. Now having won 5 straight, and the bats have picked it up lately, having scored 5 or more in 3 straight games as well. But like Jesse said, I think the line is a bit too high for me. So I tried to focus on something else. I looked at the props here. I see Carlos Correa has hit against Michael Pineda very well in his career. 11 hits on 23 at bats, including 7 extra base hits and 3 homers. I like the price with Correa over 1.5 total bases at plus 141. So you're getting a good number there, plus money. And Correa has hit him well, so I like it.
Sports fans, the king of props, Ronald Cabang. You see him all over the leaderboards over at SportsMemo. Comes in with another winning prop. Guys, I'm going to go short and sweet on this one, just like me. They both touched on some great angles, and that's what you're going to get on this show, great angles. Real quick, as they both mentioned, Pineda and Ryan are scheduled. Both have looked good so far. No matter how motivated, though, Pineda is to face his former team, I just don't feel he's going to get the run support from the struggling Detroit lineup. The Tigers are just 7-21 the last 28 meetings at Target Field. If this was lower, I'd go Twins. If I had to play this game, it's a little high. I would go run line Twins. But once again, guys, for me personally, I think there's some better games on the board. What we're trying to do here, we're trying to get you some bigger names, some bigger marquee games that go off later on the day so you can take advantage of these angles. But I will tell you real quick, off the cuff, sports fans, I've been seeing, the other day we had 15 games, 8 of them were $1.60 or higher. So you got to be very particular. Remember, especially in baseball, 162 regular season games, there is no law says you got to bet every single game. I get it. Some of these better teams early, the odds makers are inflating the line a bit. So you're going to see $2, $2.50. I don't know if we've seen any $3 just yet, but we will pretty soon. The problem is, guys, yes, these teams that are these $2 favorites are better teams on paper. But if you drop a 2 or 250 favorite, you now need the next 3 games to all win for you to get back in the plus column. So be selective. Jesse, Ronald Cabang, great angles on the first round table game. We've got our second round table game. It's an interesting matchup, guys. You know, these two teams certainly know each other well. They don't like each other very well. And let's go to Jesse Schule, where Chicago is playing in Atlanta. Braves are currently $2, total of 8.5. Jesse, please.
Well, I expected the Cubs to struggle this season. They got off to a decent start, but they've since lost 6 of their last 7. That's despite ranking 5th in the major leagues in scoring and 1st in team batting average, hitting .266. They benefit a little bit from playing at home in Wrigley there. They got Mark Leiter Jr. going tonight. He's a 31-year-old pitcher that you haven't seen much in the majors. He's allowed 9 runs in 7 1/3 innings in tough spots, pitching at home at Wrigley and at Coors Field. So he might not be as bad as those numbers would indicate. Of course, it's no picnic pitching in Atlanta against the Braves either. But Charlie Morton on the other side, he's struggled. 9 runs on 15 hits, 6 walks in 10 1/3 innings in his last 2 starts. I'm looking at the total here. Over 8.5 is more appealing to me than Atlanta at that big price. So a slight lean to the over.
The body himself, Mr. Jesse Schule, says a lean to the over. Jesse, once again, we just touched base on this. We're seeing a lot of these matchups over the last, first few weeks of baseball. You're seeing $1.60, $1.70, $1.80, $2, $2.20. What is your cutoff point when you start going, no matter who's pitching, no matter how good a team is playing, what is the cutoff point for you to say, hey, that's pretty high juice I'm laying?
Well, you've seen me pass on a couple favorites because of the price so far, but to be honest with you, as a handicapper, I don't like to set limitations for myself. I don't have numbers where I say I won't go that high. I mean, if it really warrants it, I'll lay any price if I think the price should be higher. But obviously, I like to stay away from the big prices. I like to lean more towards more creative ways to bet a favorite. You can always take him for the first 5 innings minus the half a run. Save yourself a fortune there. Normally, if you're seeing a team favored by 2-1, 3-1, the reason for that is they're going to have a superior starting pitcher. Those starting pitchers only pitch 5 or 6 innings at the majority of the time. So if you really like a favorite, I'd lean towards a 5-inning bet.
Very good. Great nuggets of sports betting wisdom from Jesse Schule. Well, Ronald Cabang is going to be telling us what he feels about the Chicago-Atlanta matchup. Then maybe we'll ask him a question or two about where he'll go and what he tries to, what brings him value as far as the line on the baseball game. Ronald, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, we got Mark Leiter Jr. and Charlie Morton on the mound for these teams. Both really have been struggling to start the season. One thing we got to remember is I don't think Mark Leiter was supposed to be part of the opening day roster. The Cubs just had a lot of pitching staff injuries, so he was called up and has been able to just get a couple of starts in. But I think once the pitching staff comes to full strength, he's probably going to go back down to the minors. But with that said, I mean, he actually did a lot better of a job in his last start than he did in the first one, and he also did pretty well in spring training. So, I mean, it's not too crazy to see him, come back into the lineup later on in the year if the Cubs continue to struggle. And on the other side, Morton is really he's towards the tail end of his career. You can see it more so in his command than anything else. He still has that 14 mile per hour difference between his fastball and his changeup, so that's there. It really is just the command that he's struggling with right now, and batters are able to get onto that. To me though, I know Jesse is on the over there. I don't think I'm going to bet this game at all, but I do lean slightly towards the under. I think other than the huge 21 run outburst, the Cubs really have been struggling at the plate. And they haven't been able to put up over 5 runs or anything like that in 7 of their last 8 games. And, on the Braves side, if Leiter improves once again in the next start, even if he just gives up a couple runs, this could stay under the 8.5 mark. I don't completely trust it yet, but that's just a lean for me in this one.
There you go. Sports fans, Ronald Cabang, the king of the props. You're getting great angles from different types of successful handicappers, sports fans, and Ronald's one of the best. Ronald, I know you like to put out a lot of props and whatnot, but as far as the first question I posed to Jesse, when you're looking at a side in the game, at what point do you say, wait a minute, this doesn't offer me value, that price is a little too high? Where's your kind of cutoff?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jesse kind of hit it right on the head with, if you see value, regardless of the price, you kind of want to take it. I've seen a few other people go ahead and say, hey, well, I got two teams here that are over 200, minus 200. Let's put them together. Let's see what we can get with a parlay, at a plus whatever. I don't really do that type of stuff. That's what I see out on Twitter a lot. But one thing that I like to do really is kind of look at the line and the total itself. You see a minus 200 favorite and the total is down at -7. You're kind of expecting like a close game here as far as the run totals. So maybe like a 4-3 game, and you can kind of see maybe some value on the underdog at that point. If you see a total up at around like 9.5, and the favorite up at -200, -250, you can kind of see a high scoring game, maybe one-sided at that. So maybe you'll see a value on taking the favorite on the run line. Another thing you can look at also to save you some money is the -1 and the +1. You can always combine the money line and the run line to get that -1, +1, and save some money there as far as playing that. But a lot of the times you might see a push. If you get right on the one run difference, but sometimes it's that extra money that you save that goes a long way. I mean, like you said, there's 162 games in the season, and all these, it's a long season. You're gonna have to be selective, and sometimes you want to play it safe that way. I'm more of a safe better than that, than a risk taker. So that's kind of like my look into how I look at these huge favorites.
Great stuff from Ronald Cabang, and he walking like he talking. One of the best I've ever seen. Ronald, Jesse, I see a lot of people out there that don't care. I saw someone on Twitter put up a couple of big NBA favorites the other night. He said take them on the money line, and we're talking about double-digit favorites. And it doesn't make you a great handicapper to say, well, this team should beat this team. They're a 10-point favorite. But, those underdogs have been winning every once in a while. I know it's a baseball show, but, when you start losing that value, you got to understand, guys, Ronald made a real great point. A long season, a couple of pennies here and there may not mean a lot today, but over the course of 162 games, pennies turn into dollars, dollars turn into thousands. Trust me, you should be penny smart and dollar wise. Really. Now, I did look at this game, if I may, guys. I'll be honest, my friends. I'm not going to hurt any Chicago fans. But because I know Chicago Cubs have a huge fan base. But if I was a Cubs fan right now, it would be a good time to start worrying, I feel. We know traditionally this team has problems when playing away from Wrigley, but usually they can count on being successful at home. Right now, they're not winning either in Chi-Town or when they travel. They've lost 6 of the last 7. They started the season hitting the ball quite well, but outside of putting up 21 runs against the Pirates a few days ago, which was their only win in their last 7 games, their lineup is stuttering a bit. No matter what they do offensively, it seems that they can't compensate for how poor their pitching is at this moment. Ronald mentioned they got hit by injuries. This is still a team that is, no matter what, guys, you got to get some starting pitchers in there and some middle enclosures that can just hold some teams down, and they are not. Atlanta, they're not doing too much better right now, but they do have the confidence of knowing they've taken 5 of the last 6 meetings with Chicago, including Game 1 of this series yesterday. And if you want to compare pitching, I believe you cannot. Mark Leiter Jr., I'm not going to say it. His numbers speak for itself. Charlie Morton, off to a bad start, does not have a good record against the Cubs, but has proven to be a consistent pitcher overall. I think he's had some really good seasons. And I think, beginning of the season, we see a lot of hitters struggling right now. The same thing happens to some pitchers. Charlie Morton had a couple of good years. He's going to struggle a little bit here and there at the beginning of the season. I think his season is far from going to be doomed, I'll tell you that. I do think this number is very high. I don't think Atlanta warrants being this high of a favorite. I wouldn't lay it, nor would I have put any faith in Chicago right now either. I think there are better games on the board. I'm staying away. I did just want to give you a little breakdown of numbers and whatnot. I know the Cubs have a huge fan base, guys. I would start worrying right now if I was a Cubs fan. I'm not going to lie to you. I live with a woman who is she's from Cicero, man. She loves them Cubs, and every day, this is what she does for a living. She's very good at it. Her heart is with the Cubs, but she can't put them out. And every day she picks up the paper or goes to a website and she goes, "Oh, they're not doing too good right now again." So Chicago fans, season's far from over, but they need to improve right away. Sports fans, that is just our second of 3 roundtable games. We're going to go to a battle of California right now. Oaktown at San Francisco. The Giants currently 180. The total 7 over minus $1.25. Jesse Schule, please take it away.
Well, the Giants overachieved last year, and I think everybody expected them to take a step back this season after such an impressive out of nowhere winning the NL West. But deja vu all over again. They're first place in the division, half a game up on the Dodgers, 13-5 overall. Oakland is at 500, which might be a surprise to some, 9-9 overall. Oakland, though, is ranked 28th in team batting average, hitting just 206. I think Oakland is going to struggle for the rest of this season. I just don't think they have enough talent in the lineup. They got some exciting young pitchers, though. We see one of those guys today, Paul Blackburn, 2-0, 1.80 ERA. He's gone 5 innings in all 3 of his starts. That means that somebody else has to pitch for 4 innings, and that might be where the problem lies for Oakland. Sam Long will go for San Francisco. I think they've been using him as an opener. He hasn't allowed a run in 5 appearances so far. And this game opened up at a far more reasonable price to bet on San Francisco. And 180 looks about right to me. But if you could have got in earlier this morning, I know that that's not helping you much right now, but if you could have got in at a better price, I would have taken the Giants. It's going to be a pass, though, at minus 180 after it's been bet up a little bit.
Jesse the Body Schule passing on this game. Great analysis, great breakdown as usual, Jesse. Thank you. I know you're going to be coming back around in the next segment with the best bet you'd like to give everyone, but I want to hear what Ronald has to say about the A's-Giants matchup. Please, Ronald.
Yeah, Jesse mentioned Blackburn and how he's pitching extremely well. He mentioned the 1.80 ERA. His FIP is only 1.41, so there's not a huge gap there. So we're not going to see a huge decline in his performance, in my opinion. His WHIP is also below 1. On the other side, you have Sam Long, who's been an opener. He hasn't given up a run in 5 innings pitched. Then I think it's Jacob Junis. I don't know how to say his name. But I think he's going to come up after in the bulk role. Last time he pitched, he didn't start, but he did throw 5 scoreless innings. So he didn't. He was doing well that game, but the A's bats have been struggling all season, and with who the Giants have up throwing in the mound today, I think that's not going to change, in my opinion. I like the under here. I know it's gone from 7.5 down to 7, but I don't think that the 2 teams here combined will score over 5 runs. I think both pitching staffs will be able to get the job done. I know Jesse mentioned, the bullpen of the Oakland A's. So if you don't trust their bullpen, maybe the first 5 under it might be a good look as well. But to me right now, that's the leaning towards the under 7 runs.
Ronald Cabang says he's got to lean on the under. Great stuff, Ronald, as usual. I'm looking forward to hearing your best bet in a moment, but if I may, I've got something on this game. Sports fans, going back to September 2020, San Francisco has taken 6 of the last 8 meetings with Oakland. This includes game 1 of the series yesterday, an 8-2 drubbing. A's starter Paul Blackburn, he's off to one of his better starts in his 6-year career, 2-0 with a 1.80. Meanwhile, Sam Long is making his 3rd start, his 6th appearance this season. Let's face it, we all know they're not going to use him for very long. Maybe an inning, if that, or maybe an inning and a half. That's really about it. And knowing this, normally it makes the game tougher to handicap. But I'd like to tell you about the San Francisco pitching staff. They've been outstanding. They're 2nd in all of baseball, team ERA 2.40, 3rd in the WHIP, 6th in quality starts, and I can go on and on and on. It's really hard to ignore the fact that they've won 5 straight games, outscoring opponents 32-10 during their win streak. Oh, and by the way, their offense is also ranked 2nd. They're accounting for over 5.06 runs per game. Not only are they getting base hits, they're crushing the ball already. 21 round trippers already. $1.80 is a little high for my taste. So if I had to play this game, I would go run line. I put a lean on the Giants on the run line, sports fans. And that's all she wrote with the best, with the round table games. Now, the most exciting part of the show, and I'm not going to be putting out a best bet today. I thought the outside of these 3 games that we talked about and a few of the other games, I put up one game at Sports Memo tonight in baseball. I thought some of the games were a little tough for me. That's why I'm very, very anxious to hear what Jesse and Ronald have for their best bets. They're also going to tell you what else they got going on at Sports Memo. And trust me, guys, today is Wednesday, so that means it's Fill Your Cart Wednesday. Anything you can fit in your cart from any capper, as many cappers you want, as many things you want to put in your cart, 33% off. Use code CART33 upon checkout. Today's an ideal time to follow Jesse, Ronald, or even Joe D. Let's go into Jesse. He's got a best bet for everyone. Jesse, if you please.
Well, I'm looking at Cleveland in LA taking on the Angels. And this is a big deal because Shohei Ohtani is going to start for LA. And he's coming off a dominant performance. In his last start, he allowed 1 hit, struck out a dozen in 6 innings. And, that's a pretty impressive outing. He is the reigning MVP, but he comes with a lot of hype. And I'm not a big fan of the hype, especially with the Angels. Last year, as a favorite, the Angels were one of the worst as for bettors, costing bettors a lot of money as a favorite. And they're playing a Cleveland team that has had their number over the years. Cleveland has won 10 of their last 14 at LA. You got Zach Plesac going on the other side for the Guardians. He's 1-1 with a 1.53 ERA. He's been more consistent than Ohtani. He's not as much hype. He's perhaps a lot less talented, but he is slightly more consistent. And I think the Angels are they're 10-7. Maybe they're overachieving a little bit, and at this price, I like the Guardians.
There you go. Jesse the Body Schule says take the Guardians plus a 1.5 minus 120. Jesse, great stuff, man. Great stuff. You made a believer out of me. I know you made a believer out of everybody out there. Let's go to Ronald Cabang, who I am anxious to also hear his best bet today. I know you are too. Ronald, take it away, pal.
Yeah, this one's actually going to be short and sweet like me too, Joe. But yeah, so the Yankees Orioles, Tyler Wells is 0-2 this season in 3 starts with a 6.75 ERA. His FIP isn't too far off at 6.7, and his WHIP is at almost 2. So I think the Yankees will be able to get off to a fast start in this game. On the other side, Montgomery's pitching well this season, but he's just 0-1 in 3 starts, and it's mostly due to the lack of run support from the Yankees. But the Yankees have been picking it up lately as far as run support. So to me, in this specific matchup, I think the Yankees continue their little hot start, their hot run with the bats, and Montgomery pitches the way he normally pitches. I think the Yankees can take this. I got the run line at minus 120.
There you go, sports fans. Ronald Cabang, the Yankees, minus 1.5, minus 120. By the way, Ronald, I'm sitting in Yankee Stadium as we speak, as you see my backdrop there. Sports fans, you've got some great stuff from Jesse Schule, Ronald Cabang, 2 of the best. Please go over to Sports Memo after the show. Go look at the great offers they have, the great discounts. The customer appreciation you receive from Sports Memo is unrivaled in the business. And I love the fact that Jesse Schule and Ronald Cabang could be on the show today because they are perennial leaderboard fixtures. You don't believe me? Go over to Sports Memo, go check them out. And trust me, all you need is one day with them, and they'll make a believer out of you. My friends, do me a favor. Do yourself a favor. Tune in every weekday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern to the show, Full Count. Sports Memo's MLB betting coverage show coming to you live. Each and every day we have special guests. Now, I love the fact that I get to share a couple of shows a week on the betting show. You get to share the chair of being the host with the amazing John Ryan. John will be hosting tomorrow afternoon. And then Friday, he'll be a guest on the show. Tomorrow he'll be a guest, I believe. Yes, and we're very excited because John Ryan is one of the best. He's one of the hardest working guys in sports betting. I call him the James Brown of sports betting. He does a ton of content at Sports Memo. So while you're here real quick, we would love it if you follow the Sports Memo YouTube channel and their Twitter page. The best collection of cappers anywhere on the planet is at Sports Memo, and both on their YouTube channel and the Twitter page, you're going to get a ton of free content. Also, follow Jesse Schule and Ronald Cabang Guys, it's the end of the show. Any closing thoughts or comments from Jesse?
Yeah, like Joe said, check out the leaderboards. You'll see me and Ronald as well as Joe on there. It's been a great month for me, and let's hope it continues.
Ronald, any closing thoughts or comments?
Yeah, I know this is a baseball show, but most of you guys know me as an NBA capper. Obviously, I'm on a nice little run here, 10-5 in the NBA. I'll probably be posting a play soon. And on the MLB side, I'm struggling. I've been struggling to start the season. I'm not gonna lie, but this was my sport. In previous years, so I can see this will be a good time to hop on a package and catch this run that I'm gonna get on pretty soon.
Guys, right after the show, go over to Sports Memo. Jesse and Ronald, some great discounts there. Take advantage of them. You'll thank me tomorrow. You'll name your next born either Jesse or Ronald. Trust me, I promise you that. My friends, it's that time again. On behalf of Sports Memo, Jesse Schule and Ronald Cabang, I'm Joe D'Amico. Good luck and have a winning day.